Hi Sagittarius, welcome to your weekly forecast for April 6th through the 12th. We're going to see what's happening for you guys with this lovely deck here, and then we're going to pull an oracle message for you guys from this deck here. And we're going to jump right on in and see what's happening for Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, and Rising in the week ahead. Alrighty, my dears. Alright, so here is your Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So Monday, Tuesday, you guys have 4 of Boons, okay? So Sagittarius, you might have some concerns around finances. You might have some worries or concerns around, maybe you're wondering if you are prepared enough. You're wondering if you have enough resources. But there's also a solution with 4 of Boons, right? This is going to be what we know in traditional tarot is 4 of Coins, 4 of Pentacles, 4 of Diamonds, right? So this is around finances typically. And even though there's a concern here with maybe not having enough or like feeling lack, 4 of Boons could also be asking us to kind of guard our physical space, and maybe kind of have some boundaries, right? So maybe you're finding yourself having to say no to people. Maybe people are asking you for money, or maybe people are asking you to borrow things, or maybe people are asking you to share resources. And, you know, you maybe are being more careful, right? I'm not saying you're flat out telling people no, maybe you are. But even then, you're being more careful, you're being more cautious. Now, you may have people kind of accusing you of being stingy or not doing enough or not giving enough, but this is the lesson sometimes here. In this case, you know, we see these 2 people and they're in a situation where they truly do need to be cautious. You know, it's not like they're, you know, sitting on a big massive pile of money, right? Or like have a ton of stuff. So you are going to have to maybe be cautious or a little bit more, you know, not as free and open-handed as maybe you have been in the past with people around you. Now, the tree is a beautiful symbol for me, because the tree always, to me, is about symbols, seasons, cycles. So at the same time, Spirit is saying, look, don't worry. You know, you're going to have what you need for right now, even though you may need to be cautious with what's going on, even though you may need to be careful or ration or budget, right? The season will change and the tree will give fruit again. So this is not like, you know, don't worry, your life is not changed forever to where it's always going to be this difficult or this challenging. It is going to turn around again. I just feel, Sagittarius, some of you are also really beating yourself up a lot, because maybe you had come into a time where finances really were good, or you didn't really have to worry. You didn't have to check your account for things, or you didn't have to pick or choose which bill do you pay and which one do you wait a couple of weeks. And now you're finding yourself having to do a little bit of juggling, and this is maybe making you nervous. And Spirit is saying, look, you know, don't worry, it will change again, it will turn around again. But this is a good opportunity to learn that reserve and even apply it, you know, when you do have the season coming in where you have abundance again. Right? To learn to be sparing. There's like an appreciation of what you have. Appreciating what you have. You know, not being just too like, oh, you know, whatever, like just let it come and go. But to be more resourceful. I'm hearing the word resourceful, Sagittarius. I feel you're mastering that this week. You're mastering resourcefulness. And it's giving you a sense of security. It's giving you a sense of stability. For some of you, this is in terms of a physical way. Okay. Some of you maybe are feeling like one of the ways maybe you're wanting to, like, you know, if you are in an area, a lot of us are right now, but if you are in an area where there's some kind of, you know, isolation happening, where you're having to keep to yourself or stay indoors, you know, maybe you're kind of tempted to have somebody over. Maybe you're kind of tempted to release some of that stress or that loneliness through physical contact. You know, maybe like, you know, I'm not allowed to say the S word on YouTube, but maybe have that physical connection. And 4 of Coins can sometimes tell us this is not the time for that. This is not the time for that. Okay, like you need to be protective of your physical space. Maybe even if you're living with other people, you need to have clearer boundaries of what's mine, what's yours. This is my area, that's your area. I feel those of you that you are living with older people specifically, you're becoming more like taking the lead in this, right? But you're doing it from a stance of self-preservation and to preserve them and to protect them. You're not doing it because you're trying to be a jerk, right? You're just thinking, okay, well, how can we, make sure that everybody's safe and make sure. So you might be setting boundaries within your home environment. You may be taking lead or taking charge of rations, how much you can have, how much you can't have. And for some of you Sagittarius, you might feel a little bit triggered because you might have somebody pushing back, that's making you feel like, oh, you're being mean, or you're overreacting, or, you're being, you're being cheap or whatever. But you got to listen to your guidance. If your gut is telling you this needs to be done, this needs to be done. And don't worry, it's just temporary. It'll go back, to how it was before. But in the meantime, Sagittarius, you may be having to take the lead in restrictions, setting boundaries. Some of you are restricting your inner child, but like not like in a mean way. Like maybe your inner child work is causing you to need to set boundaries within the inner child, right? Inner child can always want a lot of things, and that's okay. It's good to listen to our inner child. It's good to treat our inner child. But maybe in some cases for some of you, inner child gets away with an awful lot. And maybe when you were a kid, you got away with some stuff, or maybe you had a really difficult situation in your life. So maybe certain members of your family or people, maybe they overcompensated for that. Maybe it was like, oh, poor Sagittarius, you've had such a difficult experience. So now we're going to do whatever it takes to make you happy. We're going to give you whatever you want because you've been through such a terrible thing. And that might have caused you to have issues or difficulty in your older life and your adult life, in terms of like impulse control, where it's like, well, if I want that, why can't I have that? I deserve that, right? Like I deserve that. And so you might be setting limits with that voice in your head that says, I deserve that, I deserve that. Why can't I have that, right? You might say, well, you can have a little bit and we're going to save some for later. Or, maybe it's not a good time to make this kind of a purchase right now. So you might be setting boundaries on that inner child voice that's like, but I want it, but I need it, but it's going to make me happy, but I deserve it. Oh, I've been through so much. So you might be finding that there's going to be other ways in which you're going to have to work through, treating yourself or pampering yourself or soothing yourself for what you've been through, right? You might not be able to do it with food or physical purchases. You're going to find other ways to soothe yourself. And keep in mind, this is the week of the full moon, right? So this could be a reason why this is coming up. This is something that you're releasing in this full moon energy. Your next card here, my darlings, is Ace of Challenges. Okay, so this is new ideas. This is clear ways of thinking. A lot of the times for me, the aces in general are breakthroughs. It's like maybe you were blocked in that area, and the ace is saying now you're becoming unblocked. You're having a breakthrough. And challenges in this deck is going to be the element of air. And the element of air is the element of thought. So when I see ace of air or ace of thought, then it's telling me you're breaking out of limited thinking. You're beginning to see solutions that you didn't see before. You're coming with creative ways of handling a situation. I also feel like communication is going to be very important for you, Sagittarius. And I feel like you're going to be really proud of yourself because something came up in your love reading for April, which was very interesting to me. I got really nauseous during your love reading for April. And when I get nauseous connecting with energy, it tells me someone in the equation or someone in the situation has a habit of taking their anger out on other people. Like they have a habit, like if they're upset or they're angry, they'll just like go off on somebody and they can say very, very hurtful things simply because they're angry or they're hurting. Sagittarius, maybe that's an aspect of yourself you have dealt with in the past. But these cards make me feel like in that equation or in that situation, you're the one who's taking control of it, and you're the one who's maybe finding a way to diffuse it or to calm it down and to be able to have constructive conversation. To say, okay, you know what? I understand you're really upset. I understand you're really mad. Like, you're not taking it upon yourself. You're not getting hurt. You're not believing the things this person is saying. You're not internalizing it. In fact, you're maybe even able to disarm them. See how this bird has this arrow in its beak, in its mouth? You're taking away their arrow. You're taking away their weapon. You're disarming them, but you're doing it peacefully, right? And you're just like, let's talk about this. All right, you're frustrated. Tell me what you're feeling. Okay, why are you feeling that way? Okay, what are some ways that maybe we can work around this together? So coming up with solutions and like constructive conversation, right? And so Sagittarius, I feel you're taking the lead in this. It could be in a work situation. It can be in your home environment. It could be with a romantic partner. It's going to be different for different ones of you because this is a general reading and you guys are going to experience these energies in different ways. However, I do feel that you're finding yourself having to take the lead, right? Taurus had something very similar. So I don't know if some of you have like Taurus placements that are significant, but again, this was in their love reading. I haven't done their weekly reading yet. But I feel like you're taking the lead of whatever's happening in terms of communication, organization. I'm hearing running a tight ship. You're running the ship, Sagittarius. You're becoming captain. You're stepping into the role of captain, and you're surprising yourself by how well you're doing of it. Okay? Your next card here is 3 of challenges. So you have two air signs here, or 2 air cards here. Okay, so you guys are definitely in the realm of thought, but when we get into 3 of challenges or 3 of air, then we're feeling this stuff emotionally. The thoughts are coming into the emotional realm. And 3 of challenges can indicate having to make sacrifice, and having to give certain things up, you know. And you might have a hard time with certain things that you're having to sacrifice or having to give up. I feel some of you have a very difficult decision to make this week, and I'm feeling it in a past life connection. And surprise, surprise, I don't feel it's romantic, okay? This could be maybe a friendship, like maybe somebody that you've been confiding in. I heard confidant, you know, maybe somebody who's been like a confidant to you. Or like a sense of like posse or entourage, right? Like maybe you've been very generous towards them and you've done a lot for them. Maybe you guys like to be social. You in the past like to go out or have drinks or go out and eat, and maybe you've just always kind of picked up the tab, and in return they've like listened to your problems, they've had your back, they've been there for you. It could be a relative too. And now you're realizing that I can't do that for this person anymore. And they might be hurt by it, or they might feel like you're holding out on them, or they might not realize that you really can't do this for them right now. And they may respond or behave in a way that's hurtful to you. And you might say, okay, wow, I guess now I'm seeing their true colors. I guess now the true colors come out. Like, when I can't do for you, then you can't do for me. But you forget about all the other times that I've been good for you or good to you. So 3 of challenges can be the truth being revealed in a situation that's showing you who or what needs to be given up. And that can sting, that can hurt. But in my experience, the good news with this is that it's pretty quick, right? It might hurt really bad in the moment, but it's not something that you're going to be dealing with for weeks and weeks and months and months. You know, I always kind of liken it to a little kid running around on the playground. They fall, they hurt their knee, and they're screaming like it's the end of the world. But you give them a hug, you give them an ice pack, you give them a Band-Aid, and like a few seconds later, they're off running around again. They're pretending they're a T-Rex or a superhero or whatever. They've completely forgotten about that pain. So it'll be quick. It's not going to be something that you're going to have to carry for a long time. But this is the thing, my dear Sagittarius. You're going through a clearing to come into a come up. And a lot of the times what happens when we're coming into a come up, Spirit makes it very clear to us who or what is not meant to go with us in that next step, in that next elevation. Who is not meant to benefit from what we have coming in, because there might have been people who've been benefiting from you. And now we're kind of going through this reset, and we're going to come into a fresh start. We're going to come into a fresh start economically. You know, we're going to come into a fresh start in the way the world is run. It might get scary before it gets better. But before your better comes in and you're able to kind of thrive again and come up in this restart, it's becoming clear to you who maybe shouldn't benefit from what you have. And it's in these times that we see the true colors in people. So that can be difficult. But the beautiful thing, the beautiful gift that you're receiving here is you're coming into your power. You're becoming a more effective communicator. You're coming up with really clear ideas. You know, you're feeling more comfortable and you're being taken seriously. And that's a beautiful thing. Okay, we're going to see what your oracle card is here for the week. And again, my dears, I encourage you to watch your moon sign and rising sign videos. Some weeks those may resonate with you more than others. You may need a private reading, which I'm more than happy to do. If you want to click on the Calendly link in the description of the video, you can schedule a private card reading with me there. So your card is Dragon's Pet. It says communication between species, animals, pets, magical companions, and guardianship. Well, communication definitely came up as a very, very big element for you here. Now, what's interesting to me is your communication card and this card here both have that really beautiful light blue hue to it, that light blue color. And light blue is a color that I associate with communication of spiritual concepts and ideas. So a lot of you maybe are helping educate in some way, or you're preparing to step into a role of educating. And it might be in terms of your spiritual beliefs, your spiritual truth, right? I feel like you're doing something where you're wanting to like awaken people, or like, you know, I've been through so much. I've had such a rough kind of, you know, past, and here's ways in which I've grown and healed, and I want to help other people through it. So you might be stepping into something that you're doing in terms of speaking, you know, whether it's through spoken word and poetry, whether it's through writing about your life story, whether it's doing public speaking, whether it's starting a, what is it called? A podcast. You know, you might be kind of beginning to express yourself in this way and creating some kind of community in this way. For other ones of you, just communication within your circle or your surroundings. You're maybe helping people wake up and see things. Well, I'm not going to say helping them wake up, because we can't force someone to wake up, but there may be members of your family or people around you who are beginning to wake up, and you're kind of ahead of the curve. So you may be stepping in and helping them along with that process, you know, through communication. Some of you are spending more time with animals, okay? And, you know, receiving connection through that way, receiving comfort through that way, you know, being connected with that realm as well. Okay, I know a lot of you ask me to analyze your birth charts and stuff. I just want to say real quick, I'm more than happy to give you guys card readings. I will give you card readings every day, all day. I'm very comfortable doing card readings, but I'm not an astrologer, and I don't want to give you incorrect information. I don't want to take the risk of interpreting something and not being correct about it, because I'm not versed in astrology. My understanding of astrology is very, very basic. I read more intuitively. But I did have an astrologer reach out to me that really impressed me. So if you want to check out their website, they have free resources on there, like free articles and guides and stuff that can be helpful if you're trying to understand astrology better. But they've been really cool, and they were like, look, you know, if anybody wants their chart analyzed, or if they want a forecast for the year or love and compatibility astrology report, you know, I'll go ahead and I'll give them unlimited 30% off as many reports as they want. So their prices are already pretty affordable. I thought that was very generous. So if you do want to get an astrology report, you can definitely check that out and enter the discount code, which is Angel30, and use it as many times as you want. If you want a card reading, you know, come to me. I'm happy to do a card reading. And As far as love and romance, my love and romance for April is linked in the description if you want to watch the love videos. Channeled angel messages will be up soon. Don't forget to watch on Instagram and Facebook. Not watch, but don't forget to check out the daily messages. Every single day I post a card of the day there. I do a cool little pick a card, so take advantage of those as well if you're not on the social media. I thank you all for watching, liking, sharing, commenting, and subscribing. Have a wonderful week, my dears.